Exercise 3.2, question number 3. From the information shown in the figure, state the test assuring the congruence of triangle ABC and triangle PQR. Write the remaining congruent parts of the triangles. If the hypotenuse and the side of a right angle triangle are congruent with the hypotenuse and the corresponding side of the other right angle triangle, then the two triangles are congruent with each other by hypotenuse side test. Therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle QPR by hypotenuse side test. Now we have to write the remaining congruent parts of the triangles. Side AC is congruent to side QR, corresponding sides of congruent triangles. This side is left out, side AC. So now side AC will be congruent to side QR because the corresponding sides of congruent triangles. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle QPR, we already proved. So now we have to write the corresponding sides of congruent triangles and corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Side AC is congruent to side QR will be the corresponding sides of congruent triangles. Now, two angles are left out in the first triangle. Angle ABC. Angle ABC will be congruent to angle QPR, corresponding angles of congruent triangles, and angle ACB will be congruent to triangle QRP, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. So we have written the remaining congruent parts of the triangles. See, measure of angle A and measure of angle Q are 90 degrees. So a measure of angle A congruent to angle Q is already done. So we need not consider that again. So we have written the remaining congruent parts of the triangles. Now coming to the next problem, question number 4. As shown in the following figure, in triangle LMN and triangle PNM, LM is equal to PN, LN is equal to PM. Write the test which assures the congruence of the two triangles. Write their remaining congruent parts. Now, if three sides of a triangle are congruent with three corresponding sides of the other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent by SSS test. Therefore, triangle LMN is congruent to triangle PNM by SSS test. Now, we will write the remaining congruent parts. Whatever is left out, you have to take. In triangle LMN, you can see angle MLN to be congruent to angle NPM. You have to see the correspondence of the vertices and accordingly write. If you cut one triangle and place over another, and if they are overlapping each other properly, then those two triangles, because these two triangles are congruent, they will overlap each other if you cut and paste one triangle over another. So we can find out the corresponding vertices accordingly. Now remaining congruent parts of the triangle, angle MLN is congruent to angle NPM, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Angle LMN will be congruent to angle PNM, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. And angle LNM will be congruent to angle PMN, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Now coming to the next one. In the figure 3.24, segment AB is congruent to segment CB and segment AD is congruent to segment CD. Prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. Now we will write the proof. In triangle ABD and triangle CBD, segment AB is congruent to segment CB is given. Whatever is given in the question, you can see you have to write the reason beside it. Within brackets you have to write given. segment AB is congruent to segment CB. Within brackets you have to write given. Then segment AD is congruent to segment CD. This is also given. So within brackets you have to write given. Now you can see a common side. BD is common for both the triangles. So you will write segment BD is congruent to segment BD. Within brackets you will write common side. If three sides of a triangle are congruent with three corresponding sides of the other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent by SSS test. Therefore, triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD by SSS test. Hence we prove that, finally you have to write like this for proofs and all. Hence we prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. That should be the final statement. Hence we prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. Now coming to the next one, sixth question. In the figure 3.25, angle P is congruent to angle R, segment PQ is congruent to segment RQ. We have to prove that triangle PQT is congruent to triangle RQS. In triangle PQT and triangle RQS, angle PQT is congruent to angle RQS because it is common angle. Before that, what is given we can see. In the question, angle P is congruent to angle R. So, in three letter names, angle P can be written as angle QPT is congruent to angle R, means angle QRS. That is given. Segment PQ is congruent to segment RQ is given. Q will be the common angle. In three letter names it has to be written because it is shared by two triangles. That vertex Q is shared by two triangles. So you have to use only three letter names for this. So angle PQT is congruent to angle RQS. Within brackets you will write common angle. See the correspondence of the vertices and accordingly you have to write. Cut one triangle and place over another triangle in your mind, then you will understand the correspondence of the vertices of the triangles. Now, if two angles of a triangle and a side included by them are congruent with two corresponding angles and the side included by them of the other triangle, then the triangles are congruent with each other by ASA test. So, triangle PQT is congruent to triangle RQS by ASA test. Hence we prove that triangle PQT is congruent to triangle RQS. Now, let us learn only the statements of these two theorems, isosceles triangle theorem and the converse of isosceles triangle theorem. First, let us see the statement of isosceles triangle theorem. If two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite to them are congruent. If two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite to them are congruent. Now see the converse of isosceles triangle theorem. of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite to them are congruent. If two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite to them are congruent. Now, coming to the next theorem. If the acute angles of a right angle triangle have measures 30 degrees and 60 degrees, then the length of the side opposite to 30 degrees angle is half the length of the hypotenuse. You are given in triangle ABC, angle B is equal to 90 degrees, angle C is equal to 30 degrees, angle A is equal to 60 degrees. We have to prove AB is equal to half of AC. Now see the construction. Take a point D on the extended segment AB such that AB is equal to BD. Draw segment DC. That is join D and C. Now, triangle ABC and triangle DBC. Take triangle ABC and triangle DBC. Segment AB is congruent to segment DB because of her construction. So write within the box construction. Write the full word construction. CONSTRUCTION. Now coming to the figure. Measure of angle ABC is equal to measure of angle DBC is equal to 90 degrees. So angle ABC is congruent to angle DBC. The reason is each is of 90 degrees. You have to write within the box each is of 90 degrees. Otherwise you can also write each measures 90 degrees. Each is of 90 degrees, or you can write each measures 90 degrees. Now look at segment BC in the figure. Segment BC of the triangle ABC and segment BC of triangle DBC are common sides. So common side will be the reason here. Segment BC is congruent to segment BC. Common side. Write common side. If two sides and an included angle of a triangle are congruent with two corresponding sides and the included angle of the other triangle, then the triangles are congruent with each other by SAS test. So here triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DBC by SAS test. So within that fourth box you have to write SAS test by SAS test. Now if you go to see the remaining congruent parts, now one angle is already taken up, so remaining two angles are left out. In that we want only angle BAC. So angle BAC is congruent to angle BDC, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Angle ABC is congruent to angle DBC is there already, we have proved. But the remaining congruent parts, two more angles are left out in triangle ABC. In that one of the angle will be angle BAC, and angle BAC we want in the proof. So angle BAC is congruent to angle BDC. See the correspondence of the vertices and accordingly write. Corresponding angles of congruent triangles will be the reason. Now in triangle ABC, angle BAC is 60 degrees. Therefore, measure of angle BDC also will be 60 degrees. Because we already proved angle BAC is congruent to angle BDC. That means measure of angle BAC will be equal to measure of angle BDC. So again, measure of angle BDC is equal to 60 degrees. In triangle ABC, measure of angle BAC is equal to 60 degrees. Therefore, measure of angle BDC will be 60 degrees. Because we already proved measure of angle BAC is equal to measure of angle BDC. Now, in triangle ADC, sum of the measures of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Now take the full triangle ADC. Measure of angle DAC will be equal to measure of angle ADC is equal to measure of angle ACD is equal to 60 degrees. Write the reason. Sum of the angles of triangle ADC is 180 degrees. Otherwise, sum of the measures of the angles in the triangle is 180 degrees. So now this triangle becomes an equilateral triangle. You have measure of angle BAC is 60 degrees, measure of angle BDC is 60 degrees. So the remaining angle ACD will be 60 degrees because sum of the angles of triangle ADC is 180 degrees. Now we have all the angles measured to be 60 degrees each. So triangle ADC is an equilateral triangle. Now see the corollary of converse of isosceles triangle theorem. According to the corollary of the converse of isosceles triangle theorem, if three angles of a triangle are congruent, then its three sides are also congruent. If three angles of a triangle are congruent, then its three sides are also congruent. So, here you will be having AC is equal to AD is equal to DC because of the corollary of converse of isosceles triangle theorem. But we have AB is equal to half of AD by construction. Now look at the figure. According to our construction, AB is equal to BD. So AB will be half of AD. Look at the figure. Because of a construction, AB is equal to half of AD. So AB is equal to half of AD. Now you know AD is equal to AC because we already proved. Therefore replace AD by AC. So we'll get AB is equal to half of AC. So in this instead of AD we have to replace by AC. So AB is equal to half of AC. Now coming to the next theorem. If the acute angles of a right angle triangle have measures 30 degrees and 60 degrees, then the length of the side opposite to 60 degrees angle is square root of 3 upon 2 into hypotenuse. Square root of 3 upon 2 multiplied by hypotenuse. So in the above theorem we have proved AB is equal to half of AC. By Pythagoras theorem, in the same triangle you have to apply Pythagoras theorem. AC is the hypotenuse, so AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. So in the first box you will write AC square. Now instead of AB you have to substitute half of AC, and here we have AB square. So half of AC the whole square plus BC square is equal to AC square. Half of AC the whole square means half square AC square. Half square means 1 square upon 2 square AC square. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4. So 1 upon 4 AC square plus BC square is equal to AC square. So in the second box you will get 1 upon 4 AC square plus BC square is equal to, one box is put up over there, you have to write AC square. Now keep BC square on the same side. Take 1 upon 4 AC square to the other side of the equal to sign. You will get BC square is equal to AC square minus 1 upon 4 AC square. Now AC square can be written as AC square upon 1 minus 1 upon 4 AC square. You have to make the denominators same. It is subtraction of fractions. You have to make the denominators same. AC square can be written as AC square upon 1. So the common denominator will be LCM of 1 and 4. That is 4. So the denominator you will have to get 4. So what happens in numerator? AC square can be written as 4 AC square upon 4. Then minus 1 upon 4 AC square is there. So common denominator will become 4. So we will get 4 AC square minus 1 AC square in the numerator divided by 4. 4 AC square minus 1 AC square upon 4. So it will become 3 AC square upon 4. So in the box you have to write 3 AC square upon 4. Now taking square root on both the sides, because here it is BC square, we want to remove the square. So you have to take the opposite operation with the square root. Taking square root on both the sides, you will get BC square, the square root of BC square will become BC, because square and square root will get cancelled because they are opposite operations. And on the right hand side, we will get square root of 3 AC square upon 4. So it is square root of 3 upon square root of 4 is 2. So square root of 3 upon 2 multiplied by square root of AC square. So square root of AC square, square and square root will get cancelled and AC will remain. So now BC is equal to square root of 3 upon 2 into AC. Now coming to the next theorem. If measures of angles of a triangle are 45 degree, 90 degree, then the length of each side containing the right angle is 1 upon root 2 multiplied by hypotenuse. So in triangle ABC, measure of angle B is equal to 90 degrees, measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle C is equal to 45 degrees. We have taken in triangle ABC. Look at figure 3.31. We can apply the converse of isosceles triangle theorem here. Since the two angles are having same measures, the opposite sides will be having the lengths equal. So length of BC will be equal to length of AB. Now look at the right angle triangle ABC. You can apply Pythagoras theorem here. AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square, because AC is the hypotenuse, it is the side opposite to 90 degrees. So we have one side square plus other side square is equal to hypotenuse square by Pythagoras theorem. So AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. AC is the hypotenuse. So AB square plus BC square will become equal to AC square. Now we have BC is equal to AB by equation, the first equation which we have already proved. BC is equal to AB. So instead of BC square, here we can substitute AB square. BC is equal to AB. So BC square will become AB square. So inside the box you will write AB square. Now 1 AB square plus 1 AB square will become 2 AB square. So 2 AB square is equal to AC square. So within that third box you will get AC square. You have to write AC square. Now taking 2 to the other side of the equal to sign, see here it is 2 multiplied by AB square in this side. So if we take 2 to the other side of the equal to sign, it becomes division, AC square divided by 2. So AB square is equal to AC square divided by 2. AC square upon 2. Now I want to remove the square. I want the value of AB. So now taking square root on both sides, you will get square root of AB square is AB, because square and square root are opposite operations, is equal to 1 upon root 2 into AC, because square root of AC square upon 2 will become AC upon square root of 2. It can be written as 1 upon square root of 2 into AC. Square root of 1 is 1 only. So 1 upon square root of 2 into AC. This property is called 45 degrees, 45 degree, 90 degree theorem. This property is called 45 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree triangle theorem. Now, (45 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree triangle theorem). Now remember this, if the acute angles of a right angle triangle are 30 degrees, 60 degrees, then the length of side opposite to 30 degrees angle is half of hypotenuse, and the length of side opposite to 60 degrees angle is square root of 3 upon 2 multiplied by hypotenuse. Square root of 3 upon 2 times the hypotenuse. This property is called 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees triangle theorem. Now, second one, if acute angles of a right angle triangle are 45 degrees, 45 degrees, then the length of each side containing the right angle is hypotenuse upon square root of 2. That means 1 upon 2 times the hypotenuse. This property is called 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees theorem.